Before this story begins, I need to tell you what it is about. It is about the night I heard a voice calling my name from inside the closet. Not loud. Not angry. Just a soft whisper. I woke up because of it. My eyes opened slowly, adjusting to the darkness. The room looked normal. Bed. Desk. Door. Everything in place. Good. Safe. That happens. Sometimes the mind plays tricks. But the voice came again. Barely audible. Come here. My heart skipped. No. Impossible. I live alone. No visitors. No roommates. Just me. I told myself it was imagination. Night hallucination. Sleep deprivation. That happens. The human brain invents sounds in quiet places. But this was different. It felt close. Too close. Like someone standing just behind the closet door. I froze, listening. Silence. Good. Nothing. I exhaled slowly. In. Out. In. Out. Calm. Logic. I convinced myself it was over. But then I heard movement, a faint rustling sound. Clothes shifting. Fabric brushing against something. My stomach tightened. No. That couldn't be real. I hadn't touched the closet. It remained closed. I always keep it shut. Safety. Boundaries. Yet evidence existed, small sounds, subtle movements. I stared at the closet door. It looked normal. Slightly ajar. No. It was closed. But the gap between the door and frame seemed darker than usual. Deeper. Like a space that didn't belong. For those watching on YouTube or Facebook from a computer, PC, or television, please subscribe or follow the channel or page. Thank you. I stared at the closet, trying to convince myself it was nothing. Old clothes shifting. House settling. That happens. Buildings make noises. But the rustling continued, soft, deliberate. Not random. Like something moving inside. My breath caught. No. Impossible. The closet was small. No space for anything but clothes. I hadn't opened it in days. I always remember. Safety matters. Boundaries. Yet the sound persisted. Fabric brushing against something. My stomach twisted. I wanted to ignore it. If I ignored it, it would disappear. That's how fear works, attention gives it power. I told myself it was imagination. Night tricks. Sleep deprivation. That happens. But deep down I didn't believe it. I slowly sat up, heart pounding. The room felt colder. Not dramatically, but enough to notice. Goosebumps on my arms. I rubbed them, trying to relax. It's nothing. Just nerves. I repeated it in my head. Calm. Logic. Good. I looked away from the closet, focusing on the bed, the desk, ordinary objects. Normal. Safe. But the rustling stopped suddenly. Silence. Too quiet. My ears strained to hear. Nothing. I exhaled. Relief. See? Nothing. My imagination. That happens. I laughed softly, nervous. Stupid. I was scaring myself. I turned slightly, reaching for the water on my nightstand. My hand trembled. I took a sip. Cold. Good. Real. I tried to relax. But then I heard it again, a tiny sound. The closet door. It moved. Just slightly. My heart stopped for a second. No. Impossible. I hadn't touched it. It should be closed. Locked. I stared. The gap was wider now. Darker. As if something inside had shifted. For those watching on YouTube or Facebook from a computer, PC, or television, please subscribe or follow the channel or page. Thank you. I froze, staring at the closet door. It had moved. No question. The gap was wider, dark, unsettling. My mind searched for explanations. Air pressure. How settling. That happens. Doors shift slightly. But I hadn't touched it. I remembered closing it before bed. I always do. Safety. Boundaries. Yet evidence remained. A small movement. A tiny change. My stomach twisted. No. It couldn't be real. The closet was small. No space for anything but clothes. Nothing alive. Nothing moving. I convinced myself it was imagination. Night hallucination. Sleep deprivation. That happens. The human brain exaggerates threats in darkness. But the rustling sound returned. Soft. Deliberate. Like fabric brushing against something. My breath quickened. I wanted to look away. I couldn't. The door remained slightly ajar, the gap darker than before. Not empty darkness. Something deeper. A space that felt wrong. I swallowed hard. My hands trembled. I told myself to breathe. In. Out. In. Out. Good. Logic. Calm. I would check it. That's what rational people do. They confront the source of fear. I slowly swung my legs off the bed. The floor felt colder than usual. Barely noticeable, but enough to make me shiver. No. It was nothing. Houses change temperature. That happens. I took a step toward the closet. Then another. My heart pounded in my ears. Step. Pause. Step. Pause. The closer I got, the more wrong it felt. The air thickened. The silence pressed against me. I reached out slowly. My hand hovered near the door. I hesitated. What if something was inside? What if it had been watching? I swallowed again. No. Impossible. I grabbed the door and pulled it open. For those watching on YouTube or Facebook from a computer, PC, or television, please subscribe or follow the channel or page. Thank you. The closet door creaked as it opened. A small sound. Ordinary. But it felt louder than it should. My heart slammed against my ribs. I stared into the darkness inside. Clothes hung there, exactly as they should. Shirts. Jackets. Nothing unusual. Good. I exhaled slightly. It was nothing. My imagination. That happens. Closets are dark. Shadows play tricks. I reached inside, brushing aside the clothes. Fabric touched my hand, cold, ordinary material. No movement. No sign of anything. Relief washed over me briefly. See? Nothing. I laughed nervously. Stupid. I had scared myself. I pushed the clothes aside further, checking the back of the closet. Empty. Just the wall. Good. Safe. I convinced myself it was over. The rustling sound must have been fabric shifting. Doors move slightly. That happens. I stepped back, closing the door again. It clicked shut. Normal. I exhaled. In. Out. In. Out. Calm. Logic. The room looked ordinary, bed, desk, closet closed. No threats. No mysteries. I told myself I would sleep. Morning would fix everything. Sunlight makes things ordinary. But then I noticed something on the floor near the closet. A small mark. Dark. Damp. My stomach dropped. Not large. Barely visible. But fresh. I knelt, touching it. Cold. Real. Evidence. My hands trembled. It looked like a footprint. Small. Too small. No one else lived here. I backed away, heart racing. No. Impossible. I had been alone. Doors locked. Windows closed. Yet the mark remained. Someone, or something, had been here. And I didn't know if it was still watching. For those watching on YouTube or Facebook from a computer, PC, or television, please subscribe or follow the channel or page. Thank you. I stood up, staring at the footprint on the floor. Small. Damp. Real. My hands still trembled. No. Impossible. Doors locked. Windows closed. I live alone. Just me. Safety. Boundaries. Yet proof existed. Someone, or something, had been here. While I slept. I told myself to breathe. In. Out. In. Out. Calm. Logic. Good. Nothing dangerous. Just a strange night. A mistake. I tried to focus on ordinary things, the bed, the desk, the walls. Normal. Safe. But the metallic scent lingered in the air. Subtle. Unsettling. Goosebumps rose on my arms. I rubbed them, trying to relax. The closet door remained closed, ordinary. But my mind refused to let go. Step. Pause. Step. Pause. The memory of the rustling, the whisper calling my name, and the footprint pressed in my thoughts. Impossible. Night hallucination. Sleep deprivation. That happens. The human brain misinterprets details in darkness. Yet the evidence was undeniable. My apartment, my sanctuary, now felt foreign. Unsafe. I tried to convince myself it was imagination. Stress. Night anxiety. That happens. But deep down I knew better. Something had entered. Something had watched. And I didn't know if it was still here. I sat on the bed again, trying to calm myself. Breath in. Breath out. Calm. Control. Logic. Good. For those watching on YouTube or Facebook from a computer, PC, or television, please subscribe or follow the channel or page. Thank you. I lay back on the bed, staring at the ceiling. The footprint, the rustling, the whisper, everything remained in my mind. I told myself it would fade. Nighttime illusions. Human fear. That happens. But the room still felt different, heavier, quieter, like something had passed through it. I closed my eyes briefly, hoping sleep would come. It didn't. Every small sound made me flinch, the ticking clock, the faint creak of furniture, the hum of electronics. Ordinary noises. Safe noises. Yet they felt amplified, unnatural. I opened my eyes again. Darkness. Same room. Nothing moved. Good. Logic. I exhaled slowly. In. Out. In. Out. It helped slightly. My heartbeat steadied. I told myself I was fine. No intruder. No threat. Just stress. Night anxiety. That happens. But deep down I still felt it, the presence. Quiet. Observing. Not aggressive. Not loud. Just there. I turned my head toward the closet. I shouldn't have. The door was slightly open again. Not wide. Just a small gap. Dark. Wrong. My stomach twisted. No. Impossible. I had closed it. I remembered. I always close it. Safety. Boundaries. Yet it had moved. Again. I stared at the gap, breath catching. Nothing inside should move. Clothes don't shift on their own. Doors don't open themselves. I approached slowly, trembling. The closer I got, the colder the air felt. Not dramatic. Subtle. Like standing near an open window. But the window was closed. The closet remained still. I reached out, hesitating. What if something was inside? What if it had been watching? I grabbed the door and pulled it open. Darkness. Ordinary. Clothes hanging. No movement. No sign of anything. Relief washed over me briefly. See? Nothing. My imagination. That happens. I closed the door again, locking it. It clicked. Normal. Safe. I exhaled. Everything was fine. I told myself I would sleep. Morning would come. Sunlight would make things ordinary again.